Welcome everybody, I am Mrs. Rafferty. Today we are going to be talking about key details using illustrations. So we know that an illustration is the pictures that the illustrator draws in the story. It helps us to understand the main idea, what's happening, the events. So we are going to reread the story, Waiting Out the Storm, and then at the end we're going to fill out a little activity. So if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil to do it with us, you can go ahead, pause the video, and we will join you in a second for the reading of Waiting Out the Storm. So Waiting Out the Storm by Joanne Early Mackin, illustrated by Susan Gaber. So we know that Joanne Early Mackin is our author. She wrote the words. And the illustrator is Susan Gaber. So she drew all the pictures in our story. So if we're going to take a look here, and we're going to see if we found any details in this title page right here. So here I have a tree, I have the umbrella, maybe some flowers, a little girl, and a bird. So as we read through the story, we're going to use these illustrations to really find those main ideas and details in our story. Here's our table of contents page. It is Waiting Out the Storm, which begins on page 4. It is a fiction story, which means that it is made up, it's not real, by Joanne Early Mackin and illustrated by Susan Gaber. There's a paired reader with the story. It is a time for kids, which is called Be Safe in Bad Weather and begins on page 28. This is an informational text and it is about science, so it teaches you something throughout this story. Waiting Out the Storm. There is a dedication page here. It says, for Billy, who has been waiting, J.E.M. And we know that J.E.M. is our author because those are her initials, Joanne Early Mackin. And then it says for T&H.S.G. So we don't know who T and H is, but we can assume that S.G. is our illustrator, Susan Gaber. Take a look at these illustrations right here. So we have the little girl. It looks like she's hiding behind a tree. Mom's picking some flowers. If you look at the picture closely and look at the details, you can tell Mom's hair is blowing, the tree branches are blowing, the little girl's hair is blowing, and they have an umbrella. So we can make the assumption, we can assume that there's a storm coming, and they're outside right before the storm. So our page says, Mama, yes, Buttercup, what's that I hear? So maybe she's hearing noises from the storm, she's hearing the wind blow. It's only the wind in the treetops, my dear. Why does it whistle? A storm's on its way. The wind calls the raindrops to come out and play. So here we have some squirrels. Looks like they could be going into hiding, some birds. And again, we can see the branches and the trees. They look like they're bent a little bit, which tells us that the wind is blowing. They come when the wind calls. They burst from the clouds, skipping and leaping and laughing out loud. They spin and they tumble, they bounce on the breeze. They dance to the tune of the wind in the trees. So there's a little poem here that goes with it. And if we look at the details in our illustrations, we see the little girl. She looks a little bit scared. Her mom is holding her, comforting her, and she has the umbrella. So it looks like she may begin to open that umbrella because we can see these little specks in the background are actually raindrops falling down. Mama, yes, Buttercup, what's that I hear? So here we have more details in our picture. Mom opened the umbrella. The little girl is still kind of holding on to Mom, asking, Mom, what's that noise? And Mom has maybe the little girl's bunny heaved over her shoulder, carrying it home. That's just the rumble of thunder, my dear. It's too loud. I'm afraid. Oh, it's only a sound. Thunder stomps, thunder stumbles, and bumbles all around. So here, if we look at the illustrations, we can see that the clouds are very dark, just like they would be in a thunderstorm. There's rain coming down, and it looks over here like that sun is trying to peek through those clouds very slightly. What is it doing? It's racing up high, chasing the lightning all over the sky. The lightning's too tricky. It starts and it stops. It flashes and dashes between the raindrops. So again, you can see the dark clouds in these illustrations. Over here, they have the sun trying to peek through, and they have the lightning going across. Maybe this is a lake or a creek, but we can see those rain drops all over. What will the turtles do? Oh, don't you fret. Turtles like being outside when it's wet. Like ducks? Yes, ducks paddle in water all day. Puddles are ducks' favorite places to play. So here we look at our illustration. We have the turtle who's just hanging out on a rock, and we have our ducks and our ducklings, which are baby ducks, in the back following their mom and dad, trying to swim in the puddles and play in the rain. What about chipmunks? They snuggle together deep in their burrows in wet, windy weather. So here we know that a burrow is a home underground where chipmunks and snakes and other animals will live. We have some worms in this illustration. Looks like they're trying to dig a hole too. There are the roots of the tree over here. There's a grasshopper up here. I'm not sure what these are, but we could assume that maybe they're just some rocks around. So there's lots of details. Here's our flower, and these down here are the bulbs where the seeds grow and the roots go down. And birds, where do birds grow? Beneath mama's wings, when rain falls and winds blow, the mama bird sings. Hush, little chickadees, never you fear. They're there, you're safe now, and I am right here. So they just told us that with all this rain, we heard that the bird will go into her nest and she will kind of sit and warm her babies and keep them dry in the rain. We're comfy inside. Yes, we'll stay dry and warm, cozy together here out of the storm. Tomorrow the sun will shine, then we'll go play. We'll splash in the pond like the ducks do all day. But for now, let's just watch. It's a wonder to see. I'm so glad I have you to share it with me. So here the little girl is starting to feel more comfortable. She's walking inside with her mom, taking off her wet coat and getting out of that storm. So come, darling buttercup. Here where it's warm. Like chickadee babies, we're safe from the storm. While winds blow and rains fall, we'll wait out the weather. We can see in the details in this picture, she's got lots of toys around and books and a puzzle. Her mom's still making her feel better to wait out the storm inside so she doesn't get wet, but we can still see those raindrops in the back picture of this window. Those little streaks are actually the raindrops that they painted on the picture. Cozy as bunnies, yes, snuggling together. So here they said that they were cozy as bunnies, and these two bunnies are snuggling, and mom and her daughter are snuggling as well. Okay, so we are going to switch it over now. We are going to talk about the details from the illustrations. So here we have a details page, if I can get it to pull up. And what I want you to do is with your piece of paper, you are going to draw some important details in the story. So you can draw just like this one. And I'm actually going to use a bigger piece of paper too. We're going to do this together. So if you want to just copy this page real fast, you can pause the video right here so that you can copy that. You have 3 boxes, and they each say the word detail in them. So you can write that. We are going to pick 3 details from the story that I want you to draw. Now, remember when we draw, we always label what we're drawing. And we are always going to put the title of our story so we know what page it is for. I'm going to switch out my camera so that we can see this real fast and do this together. So here we have our details page, just like the one that they drew. So we know at the beginning of the story, the little girl looked worried. So she was picking her flowers and she was worried. So I'm going to draw that little girl. And she had some long hair. And she had on a dress with some pants. draw her picking her flowers. So that's one of the details. And if you remember that she heard the rain coming. So in the next picture, we are going to draw a picture of her and her mom, because what's very important was how she was super scared in the storm, but her mom made her feel better. So I'm just going to draw her mom here. And her mom is holding her hand. And then we also have to remember that her mom had that umbrella in her hand. So we're going to draw the umbrella, but we're going to draw it closed, because it wasn't raining yet. They were just little raindrops, I believe. Yep. Just little raindrops. That was another detail of the story. So she was out picking flowers. She got scared, grabbed her mom's hand. And then the last picture we're going to draw, you can do it the same one I do, or you can pick a different one, is when she was in the house and she was sitting on the chair with her mom. And her mom was hugging her and she was making her feel better because of the storm. And then I'm going to put the little girl up on her thing. Not the best pictures, but that's okay. These are our pictures, and that's all that matters. So now what we're going to do is we are going to write what happened. So down here, our first detail of our illustration was she was picking flowers. So you can write she was picking flowers. Like that. The next one was that her mom had the umbrella. And it started to rain. And then the last picture was that her mom held her during the storm. So you can pick any details from the illustrations that you want. You do not need to pick out the same ones that I did. The last thing that I always like to do whenever I'm doing any type of drawing or illustration or details from a story is write down what the title was so I don't forget. So this one is called Waiting Out the Storm. There you go. And that is how we look at details in a story. Or I'm sorry, how we look at illustrations in a story, looking for the small details. Because sometimes when we read a story, there's hidden secrets in the illustrations that we may not see. So I hope everybody has a great day, and we will see you next time.